the Honourable Tony Abbott, Leader of the Opposition.
Your Majesty, Your Royal Highness, Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed an honour to join the Prime Minister in her most eloquent welcome to the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh on their 16th visit to our country. Your Majesty, while 11 Australian Prime Ministers and no less than 17 opposition leaders have come and gone, for 60 years you have been a presence in our national story. And given the vagaries of public life, I'm confident that this will not be the final tally of the politicians you have outlasted. In fact, the Crown is probably the oldest continuing institution in Western civilisation after the papacy. The Crown, which we inherited in 1788, has evolved as our country has grown. Once, the Crown in Australia was personified by an Englishman representing the British government. Today, the Governor-General is always a distinguished Australian who is a representative of the people above and beyond politics. The Crown has been a symbol of stability and continuity because it has adapted to the changing times. Australians have rejected some change because they feared that it might not be real progress. But we would welcome other change, such as the proposal to end discrimination against women in the line of succession and to allow marriage to Catholics, because it is a sign that ancient institutions need not be anachronisms. The monarchy is an expression of Burke's lovely concept of institutions as compacts between those who are living, those who are dead, and those who are yet to be born. Previous generations, after all, weren't wrong about everything. This generation doesn't have a monopoly on wisdom and insight. We should keep the faith with our forebears, just as our descendants should keep faith with us, and just as you pledged, Your Majesty, on ascending the throne. Your own life, ma'am, has been an exemplar of the ideals of duty and service that make societies strong and civilisations last. When you observed, after the destruction of the Twin Towers in New York, that grief is the price we pay for love, you spoke not for England and not for Australia, but for the world. And although the office is bigger than any individual, the monarchy can indeed wax and wane on the character of incumbents. To Your Royal Highness, Prince Philip, may I say that you have brought humanity and irreverence to what might otherwise be a stuffy institution. When introduced to Kate Blanchett as someone who works in movies, you asked her whether she could help to fix the Palace DVD. Only locals are allowed to joke about our Kate, so that makes you at least an honorary Australian. When I read, Your Majesty, that this was expected to be your last Australian tour, I was reminded of an interview that Archbishop Mannix did on the occasion of his 96th birthday. At its close, the youthful reporter said that he hoped to do the same interview again next year. "I don't see why not," said the prelate. "You look healthy enough to me." At the close of his best volume of memoirs, Clive James wrote, "As I type this last paragraph, it's raining in the City of London. Below me in the streets, the umbrellas are commiserating with one another. But 12,000 miles away and 10 hours from now, the yachts will be racing on Sydney Harbour under a sky of powdered sapphire on a sea of crushed diamond. The birthplace of the fortunate sends out its invisible waves of recollection. It always does, and it always will, until the last of us come home. Your Majesty, you have taken such obvious pleasure in your visits to this country, and that pleasure is amply reciprocated by the Australian people, amongst whom you will always be welcome. It is not necessary to live permanently in Australia, well and truly to belong here. You are one of us."